It is us. Da-da-da-da.
Don't you love the weather here in Montana now? Amazing.
Oh, it is. It's pretty cool,
horse
isn't
weather.
It is. It is horse weather. Everything is horse weather up there. Because it's a horse place.
I was telling all my Facebook buddies about the woodchucks up here, and I was trying to figure out a name for them.
Yeah.
And this one lady says, "Oh, they dig holes everywhere. Everywhere. You better not go horseback riding because they dig holes everywhere." And
You talking about gophers?
No, my woodchucks, my buddies. And I said, you know what? I don't care. There's so much land up here. They can dig a hole wherever the heck they want.
Wow.
We don't have any walls up here.
William says hello, and we're here. Guess what? Guess what? It's my birthday today. It's my birthday today. Yes.
This is really bad when you have to tell people it's your birthday. They should know.
Especially my co-host. But that's okay.
Well, I just woke up. I'm doing a radio show on half a cup of coffee.
No, but I want to talk about the spiritual meaning of a birthday. We have to talk about that.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Arthur.
Happy birthday to you.
To you.
Don't quit your day job.
You didn't like my singing.
No, I loved your singing.
Let's take a survey, folks. Do you like my singing?
Yes,
it was. Write into us and let us know.
It was wonderful. That's just sweet mystery of life. Or sometimes when you break out into "Oh Solo Mio," that one gets me going. So,
oh Solo Mio.
I rest my case.
Then of course there's dreams. But you tell us about your birthday, and I'll tell you about my dream.
Okay, birthdays. Birthdays represent the increment of light that you receive from the Godhead on each of your cycles, and it corresponds to the processed solar return for each person is when that happens. And you can speak to the solar return. I wanted to ask you some questions about it anyway. But
I'll send you one today for your birthday.
Thank you. So you actually do receive an increment of light for your next cycle, and you can actually bless other people on your birthday by giving them a gift, by shaking their hand.
Handshake.
Right, which actually will exchange it. I'll shake your hand. We're doing this virtually right now. So there you are.
Everything's virtual anymore.
That's a birthday. So it's important. Birthdays are important, and you recognize that you have a new cycle and a new increment of light to work with during the course of that year. So do good things with it. There you go.
Yeah. It's really interesting. 6 weeks before your birthday, you feel like, oh,
yeah.
God, what just hit me?
Yeah, the 6-week cycle. We have to talk about that.
It's the soul going, oh, God, I only have 6 weeks left to wrap up this karma. And, you realize how much you haven't done in the year, intuitively, instinctively, but your outer mind hasn't quite processed it. You're just thinking life is hard. But the thing is that you really do want to do as many good deeds as you can in that 6-week cycle to wrap it up. And otherwise, it'll go like, you'll feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders.
That's one thing that I noticed. If I look back on the last 6 weeks, I had a lot of emotional things that I had to deal with in the last 6 weeks. So that was my challenge. So I had a lot of interactions.
Oh my God, we might have just discovered something.
What?
Remember what we were talking about in the last show about the emotional quadrant between 51% balanced karma and 100?
Yes.
All right, in the year that may happen, the more emotional you are,
yes,
the more you're probably for that particular year, maybe you balanced, 51% of your karma or more. And if it goes really smooth in the last 6 weeks, then maybe you pass that 75% mark.
Well, that's interesting. If I look at my year, I'm on the now we haven't done any shows on the cosmic clock, and we have to. So we're just going to throw these concepts out there, and people are going to go, huh? What? But we'll explain them. So this will be good, and we'll get some questions, and we'll go ahead and answer those.
Call me. I'll do your cosmic clock. It is amazing. It's based on the 12 lines of the clock.
And the 12 hierarchies of the sun. And
so what line are you going to be on this
2
year?
o'clock line for the year.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm just wrapping up the 2 o'clock line.
Yeah. So that's still the etheric
we just
quadrant.
revealed our age, didn't we?
No, well, maybe within concepts of 12 years, if somebody.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you learn the science of the cosmic clock, you will get a pretty good estimate of what my age is.
So actually, you're going to be dealing with fear and doubt and
Human
records,
questionings, records of death.
90% of your psychology is in your subconscious,
Yep.
and every time you have an emotional reaction to something, it's a record from a past life coming up and going, peekaboo, and you can't really see what it is, but you feel it, and it's like, oh.
Plus, I have Pluto right on my ascendant, which in the 12th house, which also aggravates that junk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
the
rough.
The whole world knows what I have to put up with now. But, you hold the Immaculate Concept, and you love God in everyone, and you can handle anybody's astrology.
I will remember to tell you that when we go through some things and you're having some issues. Okay, I got a question for you. Is that
Me have issues? Come on.
Is that the tea, or are you drinking coffee again? Busted.
Hey, and
what?
I did a 4-day fast on Lent. I quit coffee. I mean, that is major because I haven't gone without coffee ever since 27.
Oh, that's okay. I woke her up today, folks, and so she needed a little boost to get her engine running this morning.
Speaking about engines,
yeah.
Dreams when you sleep late are kind of amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We've had shows where we've discussed that, and Gene says I have a little momentum on dream interpretation. So, all right, lay it on me.
So interpret this.
Okay.
I went hiking yesterday. This wasn't in my dream, but I did go hiking with my dog and a good friend, and it was a blast. I mean, it just felt so good to be up there where the waterfalls are, and it was straight up shot. If you want to see some of the shots, go to my Facebook, Gene Hart, and you can see some of those mountain shots we got. But my dog, he was such a perfect dog on this hike. I couldn't believe it. Just made me love my dog. Usually I'm kind of unattached to Ollie. Ollie is my dog. Benjamin Oliver.
Oh, and Ollie has got such a sweet demeanor about
Ollie.
That dog. That dog is.
Well, he's a Gemini. He likes everyone. He'll lick the robber.
Yeah.
Everybody that was coming down the trail, every once in a while you would see people on the trail and they would just stop and go, oh, this dog, and oh, dog, rub the head, syndrome.
So he did he did the hike with you then up the mountain?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, always a good dog.
He was herding us too. He was herding us because he's a Springer Spaniel with a little bit of Australian in him, but he's gorgeous. And he'd look back, he'd be ahead of us, he'd look back to see if we were coming, and if we weren't coming, he'd run down the trail and get behind us. It was hilarious. So I mean, he was impressive.
He does that with
I
your
dream
car.
about him.
You realize that he does that with your car when you drive into your driveway.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, the dogs will do that.
We're 5,600 feet up, and I mean, we are in the mountains, and we are very subject to mountain lions and bears and woodchucks.
Oh my!
Furry things everywhere.
Yes. Okay.
It's true. So I dreamed there was 2 mountain lions sitting on the front porch, and they were a little bit elevated like gargoyles, and they were gorgeous mountain lions, and so I'm walking by them and thinking, they're fine. They weren't attacking. They were just sitting there. This is my dream. And Ollie's with me, and I had a couple other dogs with me. Not that I'm a dog person, but I just, had dogs in my dream. And so Ollie goes into the shed with me, and these mountain lions come into the shed too. And they came in calmly, so I let them in. They were all calm. And then the next thing I know, they attack Ollie, and Ollie's dying. He's dying. He didn't actually die in the dream, but and while he's dying, I'm wanting to go comfort him and take care of him.
One of the important things about dream interpretation is the feeling that you had during the course of the dream.
I was so upset.
Okay.
And my baby dog was...
All right.
I just,
So what does Ollie represent to you? Like, what does Ollie represent to you?
He's my dog.
No,
Well, I
come
was so
on.
proud of him. I went to bed thinking about him, I think, because I went on the hike with him.
Okay, so what
And
were you thinking?
And we had such fun.
What were you thinking about Ollie? What
Oh,
does
what a good dog, man. Good
what
dog.
what does the dog mean to you? What does it represent? If you really tune in and you think about what does the dog represent to you? Well, I could see it in your face.
Something I have to feed.
Okay, something you have to feed. What else? I mean, think about it from a heartfelt standpoint. When you tune into your dog.
Oh, he's part of the family.
Okay.
Ollie is just, he's been here ever since I, can remember.
All right. Well,
Years ago.
dreams can take on several different shapes. One of them can be prophetic, and some of them can be, some kind of a warning or some kind of a processing of things that you're going through in the subconscious. So, our subconscious communicates with us through symbolic interpretation, through pictures, because it doesn't have words. Sometimes, if you do see a word in a dream, though, that can be extremely powerful. So, the mountain lions can represent various different things. Do you have any sense of what a mountain lion represents to you? Danger, right?
Danger.
Okay.
But they were calm
And majestic,
in the dream.
correct? And majestic.
And majestic.
Okay, now there are kind of like interpretation, certain aspects of a dream symbol can represent something to you, or they can have some kind of a manifestation for the world. So in other words, it's a totem or a symbol. The American Indians call them totems. Right. So the symbol can represent various different things in the mass consciousness, or your own symbols that you have a repetitive nature of, and then you say, okay, every time I see a dolphin, it means this, or every time I see a cat, it means this, and you start to get that handle. So you have to take if you don't have one for your own,
buddy.
Yeah, if you don't have a personal interpretation for any particular symbol, start with the one that's used in the mass consciousness. Now, mountain lions can represent leadership. So mountain lions represent the stateliness of the leadership. The fact that you had two of them like gargoyles, which is what you used, could represent the fact that it's a guardian or a guardian spirit for you, or represents...
They look like they were guarding, but they were also watching.
Okay, and what were they watching? When you say watching, what were they watching with malintent, or were they watching with what?
Unattachment. But, it was really interesting because they were like, hey, that dog, he's got a little meat on his bones,
Ah, okay. So what this could be is a warning dream for you, but it can also represent the fact that there's a bunch of other things that are going in. And I think this represents some aspects of some prophetic things that could be going on. And mountain lions can represent leadership. So what that means is it could be a message that you have to be careful of it, focus, fearless communication, patience, intuition and awareness, the power of science, silence, it depends. Mountain lions are a little less majestic than a regular lion. So it's, it's the wilds of Montana and everything else. That you're going to have to take a leadership role and be possibly the cat of the lion, can represent being the king of the mountain. And so it doesn't really allow for vulnerability. So you may have to step up. You may have to be fearless. You may have to be the guardian. And I would watch out for your dog. This is definitely something. And if it represents some other aspect of yourself. It was in
color, too. The dream was in color.
That is usually right there. There's prophetic elements about that. Anytime that it's in brilliant colors, usually the colors are more brilliant than you would ever see. Those usually tell me that it's a prophetic element to the dream. So I would take that as a warning. The bottom line is
you just have to trust in your God.
Exactly.
Okay,
but
I
it's
could
a warning.
stress about this.
Yeah, it's a warning.
I know. I get it.
Two things. Watch out for what your dog is getting fed. Make sure that your dog's okay. Keep an eye on your dog around mountain lions or something like that. And I would make calls or spiritual work to protect your land and your protect. Mm-hmm. So I'd start putting up some protection about that. Somebody might want to try to take a run at all that land that's up there.
I'm going to cry because that means they're building a house and it's close by.
Yes. Well, anyway, so mountain lion, that's definitely a power symbol up there. And I would say it's one of the more powerful.
There was two of them, too. Two of them.
That could represent, the balance of alpha and omega, the two sides of the energy. Anyway, all All right. So anyway, if any of that fits, So I
I
also
woke up
wanted
upset, I mean, seriously. So, I mean, it wasn't, and that's why it took me a while to, just like, oh my God. The first thing I did is went to the door and called Ollie in. Just, Ollie, are you okay? Here's a big piece of chicken.
Here's a call that you can make, and actually this, and you could say something like, in the name of the I am that I am. Let this warning that I have been given be a warning that I choose to understand and avert by the power of spirit of victory in this age, by the power of the
Or
mighty...
by the power of Archangel Michael or somebody, make it so somebody...
Well, let me finish. By the power of the Elohim and the mighty archangels that I now invoke. Let this be a warning that I choose to understand and avert, and a lesson I need not go through myself. I am telling you, I have been able, by God's grace, to avert all sorts of junk with the use of that call. Thank you, God. So, there we are.
Okay, then. I will call to Archangel Michael.
Victory, by the power of spirit of victory in this age. And we'll put it on the website as well. Good call. That's great. Try it out. So I want to talk about what's going on in Korea. This is bugging me.
A big fat lie. I just did a World Events webinar last Sunday, and if any of you want a copy of that, please get a hold of me at 599-3934 with the area code 406. Text me, I'll send you a copy, or that's again 406-599-3934. astrologygeneheart.com. You can send me an email from there if you don't have my email address, and ask for a copy. I'm asking for a donation. I did originally sell the copies for $19.95, but if you didn't hear about it and you weren't there, I'm glad to work with you because the information is very important.
Take her up on her deal. That's good.
So I cover Vladimir Putin in this lecture, Donald Trump, America's chart, Russia's chart, North Korea's chart. And let me tell you, North Korea is got a Gemini ascendant at a 29-degree critical point. The only opportunity they've got here is if Donald Trump befriends Kim Jong-un, and I think he's got the ability to do it. If anybody could negotiate, could you guys just go back in your box and stop messing around with the nuclear stuff? Donald Trump can do it because they have the communication connection, believe it or not. So I think most of what North Korea is doing is a show, because 29 degrees of that Gemini ascendant is in the 12th house, and the 12th house rules film. And what do you see when you see TV and you associate it with North Korea is on the cover page of the TV. You see soldiers marching, you see bombs being displayed. It's like a big theatrical display. You don't see anything else. You don't see the starving people. You don't see any of you just see the military. So there's a propaganda and a programming that's going on. And it's a lie. They don't have the capability to hurt like we are being taught that they have the capability to hurt. And I think it's all show, according to these charts.
Well, the other thing is I mean, they've had pictures of, the White House in crosshairs, and they've had pictures of, some of our monuments blowing up, or the Capitol building, or things like this. It's it's horrible. But if they keep pushing this
stuff
keep pushing, they're going to push the button and something will happen over there. I mean, you don't think so?
Nope, I think it's all show. And I think the other thing is, did you ever see the movies with the mad scientist, who's taking over the world?
Yeah, of course. Dr. Strangelove, there's a good one.
Dr. Strangelove. Well, this is basically his favorite movie, Dr. Strangelove. So that's why he's acting out the part. We're talking about Kim Jong-un. He is Dr. Strangelove come again.
Wow, that's pretty wild. But
well, it has a happy ending at the end of the movie, and so it will on Earth too, because we have connections in high places. People like me and Arthur, and many people who invoke light, and anybody that does any prayer for the planet, and those connections will not tolerate Kim Jong-un for very much longer.
Prophecyisgiven.com. Check it out. That's where we deal with these kind of things directly. That's it.
Well, somebody's got a war agenda, and they're using Syria, Iran and supposedly North Korea are friends and they're helping each other. I don't know. It's possible Russia might be behind some of it too. But then again, Russia's got a good side. You know, when I look at the astrology of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, I see both of them are action oriented, you know, and they both have the ability to get along. And what you'll see with Putin is just sort of a Scorpio, kind of like those mountain lions in my dream, very calm, you know, quiet, just watching, you know, and every once in a while he'll do something, you know. But boy, I tell you, you get that lion inside a shed and he might just kill your dog. And so Donald Trump, I think Putin thinks Donald Trump is kind of cool, kind of likes him, believe it or not. And so what you hear on that front is true, but the problem is the liberals or the George Soros or the behind that scene, those are the people that are they're the warmongers. They're the ones that want us to go to war because war makes money. It gets the economy going. And anytime our economy starts going, there's a war because it's a unfortunate thing.
Well, that's the way it works. It's all tied to that, the economic, the war machine. They need to see those kind of things happen. So they'll say, we haven't made enough money in a while. Let's crank up a conflict, and then the next thing you know, the arms dealers are out there. Bombs are being made. Tanks are being built. Airplanes are flying people back and forth. Money's being exchanged. And, hey, look, now
Then you have Fast and Furious. You have Fast and Furious. Obama supporting. Running. He's one of the warmongers. I mean, the Liberal Party, the Democrats, they want, they act like they're passive, but hey, they're the ones funding this kind of thing. Holder, all of those people were, what's her name, Jarrett? All of them, Susan Rice.
Yeah. The deal is that they have these ties to these big corporations, and as a result of that, then the corporations fund through the political action committees. I mean, we've seen it over and over with Soros, especially during this election cycle. And they have
That's why they don't want the wall, because the wall would keep them from being able to do the drug and the arms. They're all tied in to one point, that there are some hugely bad guys, whether you call them UFOs or Nephilim or godless creation, who lust after Earth, just like in my dream, and they're going to try to get it, and they'll force themselves on you.
Yeah, exactly. So we were warned about this during the time of Eisenhower. When Eisenhower was leaving office, he warned about the industrial military complex. It's also been coined, rightly so, by the Ascended Masters as an international capitalist communist conspiracy. So that's all tied with the corporations, tied to the communist governments, tied to the capitalism behind it, et cetera, the power elite.
And the more propaganda on the news that you're hearing is like universities coming up with classes on anti-Trump and how to march against it. They're inciting. It's just being propaganda fed into the youth, because the youth is where the communists go, or the socialists, to program and indoctrinate. Because once you're a certain age, you've got your ideas. Conservative means to conserve the light, and the right, the goodness inside of you. And the liberal is let it all go, let it all out, and some people are starting to think that that's the right thing to do. But if you listen to things like what Andrew Carnegie, who is one of the richest men ever, who has all his libraries named after him, he taught through Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, to conserve the light, to keep your energy inside, to choose the more moral high ground, don't throw your energy around sexually or any other way. Don't spend all your time getting drunk and fighting with people and thinking hate stuff, because basically that lets your light go into pipelines it shouldn't be in, and it creates war. And I mean, it's like one energy influences another, and it's amazing where you end up. What's happening is all the true information, the truth, is getting blocked, by this programming and indoctrination that is sweeping over America. I've read some books. I don't remember what the names of them were, but that it only takes 15 years to grab a hold of a generation. Now, Obama's had us for 8 years. And he's almost got all the millennials. The millennials. There's not a lot of millennials that are conservative, if you really look into it. And including my own kids who are both in college, my two daughters. And wow, I can't believe some of the things that they are. I don't know.
This is interesting because we're looking at this, indoctrination that we're seeing for like your girls through all of the universities, through the colleges, through the professors, and there's nobody is really taking a look at this and fighting back on this. But if we go ahead and we do a search on international capitalist communist, it's amazing what all comes back. New World Order, international communist conspiracy for the unification and defeat of democracy and everything else. All right, if you boil this down, it's hatred against God. It's basically, it's rebellion against God, it's hatred against God, because God talks about the individual's path of your own individual attainment, being able to pursue your Buddhahood or your Christhood or anything else. And communism is the opposite antithesis of a individual path to your spiritual destiny. And that's what the Trek Upward is all about. It's our individual walk up to God, to our attainment, to our union, to our enlightenment, to our Buddhahood, to our Christhood, to our Ascender Masterhood. And the antithesis of that is a communist ideology, Marxist ideology, and anything that goes contrary to the individual's pursuit of their religious freedoms. That's what it boils down to.
But, when you're a kid in college and you're looking up, you got your teacher on a pedestal because he's a professor and he's like got control of the 30 people in the room or the 40 or the 100. And it's like the idolatry takes over and you start believing the indoctrination. So when you idolatrize or look up to someone else other than yourself for leadership information, any kind of, and you don't do the research, you just accept it because he's up on a pedestal. He's a professor. He's been to school for 20 years. He knows. That's when the trouble starts. Portland, Oregon is rioting like crazy. The kids downtown, they dress in black and they beat each other up and they beat the police up. And it's like, what the heck?
Well, yeah, one of the things that they're trying to instigate is a civil war. And I've seen a lot of writings just recently regarding the fact that they're trying to instigate a civil war between liberals and conservatives.
Interesting, yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
because,
boy.
Again, they make money off of both sides. Doesn't matter what it is. And there's the destruction, and the power elite sits there and picks up the pieces, and they still stay in control. Yeah.
Somebody said on news the other night, they started talking about the Civil War. Why didn't they sit down and negotiate in the old Civil War? Trump is the art of the negotiator, art of the deal. And that's true. Why aren't these liberals and Republicans sitting down and negotiating?
No, it's my way or the highway. That's it. I
know.
And it's core rebellion. Basically what it talks about, you think about the Civil War, which is interesting. They called it the Confederation, the Confederate, and it was what were they fighting about? Again, if you boiled it down, it was, we want to run our economies the way we want to run them. And so you can't tell us what to do with slavery. You can't tell us what to do with this. You can't tell us what to do with that. We are rebelling. And so that's fine. You can rebel against that. But then what it finally boiled down to? It finally boiled down to the fact that they had to stop being rebellious. And so where was the rebellion going to? Back to God. It all goes back to core rebellion against God and the thoughts or laws or governance mandates that have been given to us by spiritual hierarchy over the centuries and centuries and centuries. It always boils down to that. If you want lasting abundance, if you want to make your ascension, if you want to be one with God and Buddha, you have to follow these laws. And the antithesis of that, no way, we want to do it our way. So it's core rebellion. That's what it all boils down to. That's it. I did it my way. I didn't do it God's way. I didn't do it anybody else's. I did it my way. So all these people say,
okay. A lot of people don't know what God is, and a lot of people don't understand God because, it's like out there in a Christian fundamentalist, oh God, that's scary. Or it's at all the different forms of religion don't make it welcoming. They make it like you've got to do. it's
Yeah. So here's what it boils down to. I've meditated on this for a long period of time, and it all comes down. Of course, I have a Taurus bent about this, which is obedience. So this is this comes down on Taurus with obedience.
Or disobedience.
It all boils down to this. There's laws in the universe. Either you apply those laws and gain the benefits, or ignore the laws and don't gain the benefits. It's as simple as that. I mean, when you really, take the dogmatic recitation and all this.
Yeah, but people don't know what the benefits are. That's the problem.
That's it.
The churches withhold the benefits.
Right.
They make it think it's a dogma and a doctrine and a mechanical thing instead of an amazing electrical light that surges through your body and causes you to feel like you're going to float off the planet.
Knowing all problems,
joyous,
helping all this, yes, and the love of the universe and feeling the support and being able to do all this.
It's not that syrupy love.
No, so what? Now the forces have instigated these dogmatic thoughts in most of the major religions, where they say, if you don't follow this, you're going to die. And it will be fearful, and God is a unmerciful thing. Mighty I am presence, cancel that out, because that is the exact opposite truth. So that's what it is. Fire and brimstone. If you do not do this, you will die. and so that's not the case.
There you go, right there.
That's it.
That's the indoctrination, the Darth Vader, the Star Wars. These are subconscious memories of things that have gone on before. They have happened, folks. Darth Vader exists. The movie industry just presents it as, I'm serious.
Yeah. So we got to defeat him. And now
Lucifer was charming and charismatic, and you wanted to follow him around like a puppy dog, and then he would bite you. He was the snake that you took care of, and then the snake gets all better, and then he bites you and kills you, and you're like, why did you bite me? I took care of you. Because you knew I was a snake. I love that poem that Trump did. But you took care of me.
Did you open up a can of worms on this thing? Do you remember during the post election rioting, whatever was going on with the liberals that were happening, and there was this countercultural movement within the feminist movement that showed women with the burqas on that had the American flag tattooed over it, and how they want to pursue this. Most of that is exactly what you were saying. We have to embrace differences and all this kind of stuff, but it will turn and eat you, just like the snake you're talking about.
It's like the mountain lion I dreamed about.
And what I'm saying is turning and eating. Fanatical Islam does not support the role of woman as an equal. It does not support the role of woman as even an independent or an individual. So basically what you're doing is you're looking at these images thinking that that's right, and all of a sudden it's going to be turned and spun. And there was something that was written. It was a post that I saw on Facebook that was incredibly well written. And they so clearly articulated what the dangers are related to the propaganda that's going through the media, how the actual people that are in our media or in Hollywood are being used against us, and they are being used against themselves, and how foolish they are for embracing those concepts because they don't know how dangerous it is that they're really doing. And that there will be the day that when they get too close to that fire, it will turn and rend them. And these are all plots by the forces. I'm telling you, it's the way it is. So.
It's true. And I got to tell you, there's a lady here who is a movie star. She was one of the stars in Superman. And she really made her, mark in the Superman movies. And she moved to Livingston, Montana. And then her next movie was this gore, scary movie. I can't even think of the name of it. It was a very famous horror movie. And after she was done with the movie, she flipped out. And now she's like on heavy doses of antidepressants, just trying to hold her act together. She just got so invaded by the horror entity.
Heath Ledger. Same thing happened to Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
Heath Ledger was a beautiful actor. He was, if you saw him in the movie The Patriot, he was inspiring, right? He played Mel Gibson's son in The Patriot. And
there was a Night movie he did.
Yeah, and then he did that movie with Batman, played the Joker, who was psychotic and everything else. Yeah. And his drug spiral went right down, and he crashed and burned and died. That has happened.
So it's like they don't know.
Wow, this has been a very heavy show today.
Where's the moon? The moon is in Virgo.
Virgo.
It's getting ready to cross over into Libra, so we're dealing with a twofold thing. It's at 29 degrees, so that means we got a little bit of psychology in Libra and who are our enemies within and without. And then we have the Virgo, the little puppies that get eaten by mountain lions. So
Yeah.
it's a 29 degree show. So
Always go back. Who benefits from the action?
I think that a little bit of good information here and there. Here it is: buy silver, buy gold, buy real estate, pay off your car, pay off your house if you can. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Have some storage food about 6 months in your basement, please. Water and all the food. You might have to feed your neighbors. Not to put scare into you, because prayer can roll back this prophecy in a New York second. So do your prayers.
Prophecyisgiven.com. Prophecyisgiven.com. Prophecyisgiven.com.
AstrologyGeneHart.com.
There we go.
See where you fit in these times. AstrologyGeneHart.com.
Wow.
Astrology.
I'm going down to the Emigrant Mall. We're going to go pick up some stuff. That was a heavy show.
Bring me some characters.
Yeah, we're out of here. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Let Jean do an astrology consultation for you, your family, or your friends. Go to astrologygeneheart.com or give her a call or text her at 1-406-599-3934. There are powerful spiritual tools available to help you deal with planetary and personal challenges, and these can be found at prophecyisgiven.com. And be sure to visit our website at thetrekupwardradioshow.com or stop by on Facebook at www.facebook.com/trekupward. And be sure to hit like on our page. Or visit YouTube and search for the Trek Upward Radio Show. Be sure to subscribe so you do not miss another episode of the Trek Upward Radio Show. The Trek Upward Radio Show is a studio at 5,600 feet production.